Hey guys, what's going on? So today in Epic 7, I actually wanted to just do more of a discussion piece talking about my current 6 stars. I actually have 10. I didn't even realize that. I thought I had like 9. But I remember raising Crozet and then like Shadow Rose pretty much right after, so I didn't really make dedicated videos for them like I sort of have been doing. It's been a bit of a series. My Xth 6 star blah blah. But so today I kind of want to talk about my 6 stars and who I sort of regret 6 starring and putting the resources into. Of course, it's a bit unfair to say that now as I have access to different units, and when I 6 starred these guys I didn't. So if me and you, the one watching, has similar 6 stars and I'm like, I kind of regret 6 starring this unit, don't take it personally, obviously. But with that being said, let's start with Destina. So with my current units, I do regret a bit raising Destina to 6 star, but she was one of my very first 5 stars. So overall, generally, I don't regret 6 starring her, because if I hadn't 6 starred her, I may not have been able to get through the content and thus would have been further behind than if I had 6 starred her. She was my front line for like literally half of my game, so getting that extra health and defense really helped her be a tank. I don't think healers in general are a super necessary 6 star at all, because they don't benefit much from the attack stat. So if I were to pull Destina today, I probably wouldn't 6 star her. Not to say I regret doing it, because again, she did help a lot in the earlier stages. Luna's pretty obvious. Obviously don't regret 6 starring her. She's a massively amazing DPS with 2 massive skills here that can do a ton of damage. Both her ultimate and basic skill are just super strong. As far as Sez goes, I have a little bit of trouble with this one. I actually still use him in Arena, but I'm also only in Master 5. People say Sez is really good for the early and mid game, and then he falls off late game, which I do feel a little bit, because he doesn't have much stuff going for him. Unhealable is kind of niche, and this only works if you can kill the target. So for Arena, I'm sure he can still do excellent things. I mean, my Sez only has 3k attack. If I can bump that up to like 4k and then give him an attack boost, yeah, he might surely be able to kill someone and then maybe kill another squishy DPS with the AoE. So I don't regret 6 starring him, and I would do it again if I were to get him now. Maybe not as a super high priority, but still, don't regret it at all. Next, we're looking at Ravi, and again, some people say she falls off a little bit later in the game. Well, I like her really a lot, especially with Sigurd's Scythe here. She has a lot of HP for some reason. Again, I think it's mostly just because coincidentally she has a ton of health percent substats on her gear. She doesn't actually have any health percent main stats anywhere. But yeah, she's my frontline for a lot of content, and she can heal herself up really well, not only with her basic attack, but also with Sigurd's Scythe. She is a beast tank, and I really like her. And it's weird to call her a tank, because she can also do some massive damage. Shadow Rose is my new shiny character, which I actually do regret 6 starring, even though that was like less than a week ago that I 6 starred her. She doesn't need it. She really doesn't need it. I mean, especially in my case, like you probably could use her as a frontline tank, like just a straight tank. But in my case, I'm kind of using her as a speed machine. She needs to be really fast if you want to use her in Arena. Mine's at 207 currently, and if you want to get those defense breaks or unhealables when they're under 50% off, you need a ton of effectiveness, and there's like not much room left for damage or health or defense. So she's kind of a bit like Cluri. In most cases, you want Cluri to be fast as well, and you want her with a lot of effectiveness. So I absolutely don't regret raising Shadow Rose. She's made my Arena time so much funner. It just, I don't think 6 star is super necessary for her, and I would have rather spent those resources on Lidica here. I mean, regret is such a hard word, you know, because it's not like I'm beating myself over it. It's just that it probably just would have been smarter. But of course, it does give me the option to make her more DPS-y at the exchange of some effectiveness, or more tanky, probably again at the exchange of effectiveness, because I can't get rid of her speed. That's by far the most important thing when you want her in Arena. Crozet, now I regret raising. When I raised into 6 star, I was just doing it out of obligation because I wanted to start autoing Wyvern 11. And then like, you know, 3 days later or something, I pulled Angelica. I was waiting for her so long. She's like, I don't know, somewhere down here now, whatever. Just trust that I have her. So that kind of sucks. I mean, Crozet, he can be a general tank, I guess, in a lot of places, sure. The only place he needs to be 6 star, I would say, is probably Wyvern. Elsewhere, he can probably get away with 5 star stats. And I think Crozet is probably the biggest shame out of them all, because literally the only place I use him is Wyvern 11, and I couldn't really see him being more useful than someone else for any other content right now. Maybe it might change at one point. Next we have Sid. He is, he's fine as well. I wouldn't say I regret 6-starring him, although I haven't really been using him very often, except for Guild War, because, you know, we need like 6 units there, and I always like to have at least 2 damage dealers in my team. So Sid's usually in one of the teams, especially if someone dies during the first round, then he'll definitely get thrown in there. His gear is obviously a bit lacking. I mean, he is so squishy with 6,700 health and 560 defense, and then he like doesn't even do damage with his 2,100 attack. So he's not well built right now, which is kind of hard having, you know, 10 plus units you're focusing on, because there's also some 5 stars I think down there I have gear on. So yeah, I don't regret 6-starring him because he is a damage dealer, and ultimately damage dealers benefit the most from 6-star. Yeah, it's just a shame that I can't focus on everyone's gear at the same time without it all being trash. Hazel, I regret a little bit, not super much, but a little bit, because ultimately most of her healing comes from the Rod of Amaryllis anyway, and everything else about her is just support or healing, attack buff. I really like her as a character, I just don't think she needs 6-star. I was never planning on having her as my frontline, so the stats don't mean as much. They still do mean something with AoE attacks, and when an enemy decides to not hit the front line. The attack she got from 6-star wasn't really enough to make her heals any better, honestly. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on Hazel. I probably wouldn't go back and take a star off though, so I can't really say I regret it, but that's mainly because I'm used to exactly how she performs, and I know taking a star off would impact her somewhat. So I guess I could say the same thing for all my heroes currently. Lorina, absolutely not. She is a bit out of commission. She doesn't even have a chest piece right now because she's, for the most part, been replaced by Luna, but she has gotten me through so many things, and you know, I'm sure I'll eventually use her again. Again, it's kind of the same case. If I were to get a Lorina today, I probably wouldn't 6-star her, because firstly you have to go through the specialty change stuff and then invest all those runes into her specialty change, and yeah. And then we have Cluri. Again, absolutely not. Sort of the same story as Lorina. She is kind of a little bit benched for the most part. I still use her sometimes, but Shadow Rose does a lot of what Cluri does. Cluri is definitely more on the protecty, defensey side with Arius equipped, and her like AoE healing. It's not very much. It's not even this. It's in the specialty tree thing where she actually does the AoE heals. Combat readiness. So yeah, she is a very, very nice hero, and I would say she's actually the best 3-star you can raise. I mean, she's free, she's just amazing. So obviously I don't regret 6-starring her. Again, though, it's just the stats, which you probably could get away with that 5-star as well. So I would say it's more like I don't regret raising her. 6-star is kind of another question. It does actually seem that Cluri can do some damage with her basic attack when the enemy's defense broken. I mean, everyone does a lot more when the defense is broken, but like I've seen her chunk off a quarter or more with her basic attack, which might have something to do with the fact that her damage increases proportional to her defense. Mine has over 1,000, which, you know, isn't a ton, but still something. So those are pretty much my thoughts on my 6-stars. In summary, why are you locked? I ain't gonna accidentally sell anyone. So basically, in summary, I don't really regret 6-starring anyone because I had a use for them when I 6-starred them. If I could go back right now and un-6-star some of them, I would do Destina, Crozet, and that's actually probably it. I know I said I kind of regret 6-starring Shadow Rose, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because I just like her, and she's new and fresh, to me at least. I'm sure a lot of you guys up there in Arena are sick of seeing her by now, but I just like her, and I take her everywhere pretty much, just because. But the ones I don't really believe need a 6-star is kind of different. Like, I think Destina actually really wants the 6th star, at least eventually, for that extra health, because her heals do depend on health. Shadow Rose doesn't really depend on stats at all, just speed, which doesn't increase as her stars go up anyway. Sure, the stats do help, but not really enough. Don't believe Hazel needs it, or Cluri. Don't think they need it. I don't think they're a priority. Of course, you know, stats will help regardless of what you use them for. My next 6-star, I actually haven't decided yet. Maybe you guys can help me with that, or like the 3 of you that are still watching till this point. I'm really thinking about going for Lidica. I've heard she is really good for PvE, which I kind of want to focus on, get through the new Abyss floors. So she's definitely up there on my might do next list. Then we got Watcher Shuri. I've noticed my damage is a little bit lacking in PvP, and I've heard he can one-shot, which would be pretty nice when, you know, we could have 3 DPS going one after the other. And then we have Angelica. I'm in no rush to race her anymore, even though I know she is one of the, if not the best healers, maybe besides Tamarin or Diane. However, like, I don't care. I'm just gonna call her Diana because people always criticize me regardless. But yeah, actually, besides that, there's no one I'm really considering. I know Yuna can be pretty good as well. It's just, I don't know if she really needs it. Kind of depends on what you're gonna build her for. Or I guess I could just wait till the next banner, hope to get the new hero if he's cool, or she, I don't know. And then 6-star him or her, or it. Maybe it's a monster. But yeah, I guess that'll pretty much do it for today. Like I said, just a little discussion piece. So you can also leave any future video ideas in the comments below if you want. And then I'll snag those up and maybe do something with them. Who knows? Dropping a like would also be greatly appreciated if you did happen to enjoy. Thanks, as always, for watching. And until next time.